Hello and welcome to Dell's Gaming, and this is from the Depths Designer, where I am in the ships I built in the last episode. And after some discussions in the comments and some testing, I've made a few changes. Actually, I've made two ships which actually use quite different shell types, so we'll just have a look. They're both effective in their own way, but together they work very well together. Anyway, so this is the Shocker, as I'm calling it at the moment, and it is almost purely EMP. So if I just bring up the UI, the front shell has a hollow point to make sure it impacts, and basically EMP and fin stabilize. So that's just pure EMP. And let me just get back on one of the other guns. Now these two guns, the other guns at the front as an example, run now different ammo. So the top gun is actually got a shaped charge, so it's a dual EMP shaped charge. I found that quite effective. The EMP will burst around and the shaped charge will just penetrate a little bit and make damage inside, similar to HESH, but I found HESH meant that the EMP didn't always take effect as well. And this one is the disruptor still, again with a shaped charge. So if it hits a shield, the disruptor will work. If it hits the body of the ship, it will trigger the shaped charge. I do find these bounce a lot though. These are 200mm. These do tend to bounce, so they're not, if something hasn't got shields. And then finally we've got the guns on the side, which are basically just a shape charged shell to be able to do some damage. So what I found is this is very good against small, medium size ships and large ones, but in a different way. Small and medium ones, it will disable and or kill them very quickly with the EMP. Larger vessels, it basically just disables all the guns relatively quickly. It will disable everything. Even I've been up against Kingstons and Alcazars, and it disabled all the weapons relatively quickly, but didn't have the killing blow, so couldn't actually destroy the ship unless it managed to get an AI hit. Now if we just go to the Devastator, so Devastator here it looks similar. I'm going to change it a little bit, but the main gun is dual purpose because someone mentioned it, so I thought I'd give it a go. So you've got a squash head and a shaped charge. It actually works quite well. It was surprising. I thought one or the other, but the squash head shaped charge does actually work when it hits areas which otherwise the squash head becomes ineffective. At least the shaped charge will do some effect, and vice versa. So it does work out quite well. The other shells that are in use, again we've got different shells for the front. I'm trying to remember here now. So the top one is a hollow point. No, okay, so this one's just trying to do very much like impact damage. So it uses the hollow point so it won't bounce. Let's just put it down to the 200, which is this. That's close enough. And then the shape charged to go further in than the initial top. This does very good against lightly armoured vessels. Wood as well. The impact damage is quite significant. It also again, the other shell, let's just have a look at this, is just a pure squash head. In this size, doing the dual squash head heat didn't really work. Just pure squash head seemed to do quite a lot of thumper damage against turrets and other items such as that. So yeah, did manage to penetrate quite well into the insides of the armoured ships, but thicker ones it hasn't got a problem with. And then finally, the last ones on the end are fast firing, hollow point so that it doesn't bounce, solid. So this just rips away at, let's just get the right size. There we go, 142, not 82, 42. 142. So this just basically rips away at metal blocks. This one fairly accurately. The damage, etc. It's also got damage and armor piercing is quite good at ripping away a metal block. It's also got some downward launch missiles. So the missiles are downward here for short range, and some long range anti-shield missiles. Here, the anti-shield missiles I tried here use the camera set to aim at shields, and then has some EMP as well as fragmentate warheads. Works reasonably, but the EMP is better. Now they do fly at slightly different heights, which is good when they get close to each other because they don't collide, which is handy. Okay, so I have put these, as I say, up against some quite large ships, and they've done quite well. But what we do is we do one at a time, and just to see what they are like, so you can get an appreciation for them. So if we take the Devastator out, so I've taken the Devastator out of play now, and we've just got the Shocker in play. And we'll bring some of the smaller ships from the Onyx. So now we've got some of the EMP hitting, and when that big EMP shell hits on these metal ships, it basically takes out a lot of the ship. Now these are healing each other, but you can see the guns are being disabled as the EMP comes in and hits. When we get another barrage come in, there we go. So that's most of the guns now disabled on this Warden, and it will just keep them disabled whilst the other guns would try and find the AI and take it out. More EMP, so we've now taken the engines out as well, I think. On the smaller ships, this will go in and just take out the AI eventually as well, which I think we have done. And then it's going to work on the Bastion. So against a Warden, that sort of size or smaller, it is very effective. I think the Bastion is done as well. So the EMP against small medium-sized ships, very effective, certainly on metal ships. I have tried it against shielded ships as well, and it does take out the shields, which opens it up to the rest of the EMP shells coming through. The size of the disruptors, it's not great, so it won't take out heavy levels of shields, but it's okay on smaller. Let's try the Devastator. So at the moment we're at a range where we're getting a few more misses than the other ship, but now we're starting to get the range, and you can see again it's disabling the guns, but with damage rather than EMP. It's going through and cutting away at the turret blocks. Its missile barrage is also inbound. When you've got things like glaives, etc., yes, they do take out the missiles and the large cram shells, but eventually they will get overloaded. So these have got some EMP in here just to take out any shield components, and it does help to disable guns, etc., in the same way as the Shocker, but it's mainly taking out the enemy with its damaging gun. And the Bastion did get taken out by actually one of the EMP missiles there. So the Warden is still up and running. It's being pecked away at by missiles and the weapons. So for these sizes, actually the Shocker took out the Warden quicker, in my estimation. I'm not saying the EMP is a better weapon. It is very subjective. As I say, in the small to mediums, it does reasonably well. But as soon as you get larger, the EMP can't travel far enough to take out the AI or other components. So you need the sheer damage. So the Warden here is just about taken apart now and despawning, but it did take substantially longer because it had to make its way through to all the AIs, etc. I could change some of those shells. I quite think they work reasonably. This took longer than normal. Some of the other ships it's been against, on the smaller ships, it just blasted them away in no time at all. Okay, let's just try them working together, because that is what I found is quite effective. So I've brought them in against something a little larger, a Stockade and a Halberd. So they're quite large ships, and also the Halberd has anti-munitions. So you can see how it does against anti-munition weaponry. So the guns of the Stockade have fairly much already been taken out by the Shocker, and it seems to I think it's taken out the engine as well. And the Halberd's anti-munitions is taking out some of the missiles and the larger shots, but it's not taking out enough or all of them. And the missiles and large crams are now occasionally making their way through the munition defence. The Stockade has been taken out. Once all the defence guns were disabled, it was just a matter of time. And a nice couple of EMP shots just took out all of the anti-missile controls of the ship. And now all of the missiles can happily get through to the defences and whittle away at the enemy. And I didn't want to bore you with the full battle, but they killed the Halberd eventually. The two working together, the Shocker keeping all the weapons out and disabled, and the Devastator just picked away at it and until it could get to the AI, etc. So the lesson as such I have learned from this is it's not a matter of one type of weapon or shell is necessarily better at everything. They're very situational, and a mixture of weapons is usually a better result. So in this case, the EMP is very good at disabling and small vessels, and the HESH heat is very good at destroying larger vessels. Now you could say put everything into one type of gun, which potentially is okay, only if you're up against one type of enemy. As soon as you're mixing the types of enemy, you're suddenly at a disadvantage, so you need a mixture. Anyway, that's the end of this video. This video is a bit of a test. I'm not on my normal machine still. I have set the machine up. It's similar as Spec, but I need to just check all of the settings for video, volume, screen, etc. For instance, I'm not running the GPU Ocean at the moment just to keep the frame rate a little higher because it's not quite as powerful as my machine that I normally use. So let me know if the audio and the video is okay, and I should start putting some videos up about the campaign soon because I've done some testing and it seems like the latest version, nothing's broken, so I'm happy to start at least on the campaign. So anyway, as always, hit that subscribe or like button if you'd like to. Leave a comment down below about what you think. You know, EMP, it does actually work quite well. Other than that, see you soon. Keep playing the game and have fun.